At 3:10 a.m., a former FBI agent called 911 with a confession that chilled the dispatcher to the bone. My son-in-law got in a fight with my daughter. I intervened, and he's in bad shape. A pause. Then 4 words no investigator ever forgets. I may have killed him. Minutes later, police entered a quiet suburban home in North Carolina and walked into one of the most violently beaten bodies they had ever seen. This wasn't a break-in. This wasn't a stranger. This was a marriage that ended in blood. Jason Corbett was known as a devoted father, a hard-working Irish businessman, and a man shaped by tragedy long before his death. In 2006, at just 30 years old, Jason lost his first wife, Margaret Maggs Fitzpatrick, suddenly to an asthma attack, only months after the birth of their daughter. Overnight, Jason became a single father of 2 small children, Jack and Sarah. Friends described him as gentle, structured, and deeply protective of his kids. 2 years later, overwhelmed and exhausted, Jason hired a young American au pair, Molly Martins, to help care for them. What began as support turned into romance. By 2011, Molly married and moved his children from Ireland to North Carolina, believing he was giving them a fresh start. But behind closed doors, the marriage was unraveling. On the night of August 1st, the house was full. Dinner, laughter, family visiting. Molly's parents were staying overnight, including her father, Thomas Martins, a retired FBI agent. Sometime after midnight, something changed. A violent struggle erupted inside Jason and Molly's bedroom. According to Molly and her father, Jason was drunk, enraged, and attacking her. Thomas claimed he rushed in holding a baseball bat, striking Jason repeatedly to save his daughter's life. But when first responders arrived, Jason Corbett lay motionless. Blood coated the walls, blood soaked the bed, blood pooled across the floor. He had been struck at least 12 times with a bat and a brick. Paramedics noted something disturbing. Jason's body was already cold. Police didn't have to ask who was responsible. Molly and Thomas admitted they struck Jason. The only question was motive, self-defense, or something darker. Molly told investigators Jason had abused her for years, choking, controlling, threatening her life. Her father backed her story, yet something didn't fit.
There were no prior police reports, no medical records, no photos, no witnesses.
And neighbors told a different story. Molly claimed she feared Jason would kill her, but investigators noticed
Jason had no defensive wounds. His skull was crushed beyond recognition. The force used suggested rage, not restraint.
Then came the children. Initially, Jack and Sarah echoed Molly's abuse claims, but 9 months later recanted everything.
They said they'd been coached.
Their words cut deep, and prosecutors uncovered another motive, one more chilling than rage.
Jason had been planning to leave Molly, take his children back to Ireland, and start over.
Molly desperately wanted to adopt the kids. Jason refused. Forensic experts testified Jason could not have been attacking Molly when many of the blows landed. Some strikes occurred after he was already incapacitated. A pathologist told the jury the violence was so extreme they couldn't even count every blow. One juror became physically ill viewing the photos. The prosecution argued this wasn't survival, it was overkill. In 2017, after weeks of testimony, the jury reached a verdict: guilty. Second-degree murder. Molly and Thomas Martins were sentenced to 20 to 25 years in prison. Jason's children finally felt justice had spoken. But the story didn't end there. In 2021, the North Carolina Supreme Court overturned the convictions, citing an unfair trial. Rather than face a second public courtroom battle, the Martinses accepted a plea deal: 5 years in prison. Jason's children finally felt justice had spoken, but the story didn't end. Jason's children watched from Ireland. Sarah Corbett said her father's killers got off easy. Molly still insists Jason was abusive. The children insist he wasn't. And somewhere between truth, trauma, and testimony, one question remains unanswered. Really happened in that bedroom before the bat came down.